Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Krusty's Funhouse with me, Mr. Muck Luckable. In the last episode, what did we do? We did some more of these levels in World 3. We're still here, we still got some of those purple padlocks, and now we're on to this level right here. Level 10 maybe? I can't remember, don't keep track. Still, back onto the rambling I think, because there's been some stuff in the news. I've said that a few times now, but it's been a very heavy news period for The Simpsons, whether it be seasons or Harry Shearer or what's just come up now about a future episode in season 27. So it all started with an interview with Al Jean, I think he had with Entertainment Weekly, I might be getting this wrong, but in it he was talking about upcoming shows, and one of them being Homer and Marge legally separate because Homer I'm not quite sure, but it's because of the guest star, which is Lena Dunham. I don't know who she is. But when people heard this, oh no, Homer and Marge are getting divorced, oh no. And one news site, I don't know which one, but one of them got the impression that this was a permanent idea, a permanent thing. Homer and Marge are separated for good in the show. They're no longer a couple. Which is really dumb. But what's even more dumb is that other news sites started to copy it. They read that and in the most lazy form of journalism, just copy and pasted the general gist of it on their own sites. So you started to see all these links with headlines like, "Oh, Homer and Marge getting divorced for good," and could this be the end of the Simpson marriage? Stupid things like that. And if they just read from the beginning, it's clear that no, it's just a one-off episode. Because making Homer and Marge divorce for good is one of the most dumb things you could do in the show. It's so stupid. And that's what I'm going to ramble about today. It's just this sort of theme of Homer and Marge. And I'll obviously talk about the game in the background at some points, because we will enter World 4 eventually. So yeah, Homer and Marge. A very, very, very consistent theme in the whole show is Homer and Marge's relationship. And it's a reason why the show can be very, very funny and very emotional. I wouldn't say very, very emotional, but it can be emotional at times as well. Because they don't mess around with certain things, be it Homer and Marge's marriage. So I've just wrote down a few of the episodes where part of the episode, or maybe the whole episode, is themed around Homer and Marge's marriage and maybe stress of it. Maybe Marge is rethinking her life decisions, and Homer becomes attracted to someone else. These are all episodes where that comes up, and these are just a few, by the way. So we have Colonel Homer, where Homer becomes the manager for Lurleen Lumpkin, and some things start to get a bit frisky there. We have episodes like A Streetcar Named Marge, where, as she's performing for a play, notices that her husband, Homer, is much like the evil, nasty guy in the play that she's in, A Streetcar Named Desire. Secrets of a Successful Marriage is another one, where Homer gives a class on marriage, which basically just means telling everyone his and Marge's secrets, which obviously Marge doesn't like. A Milhouse Divided, where Kirk and Luann, Milhouse's parents, get divorced, which leads Homer to realise that his marriage isn't as good as he thought it was. And also The Last Temptation of Homer, which is where Mindy starts to work at the Springfield nuclear power plant, and he becomes attracted to her. At the same time, everything else is kind of going weird with his own family. Marge is getting ill, Homer looks like Bart looks like a geek. They're all very good episodes, and they all contain things about the marriage. The one thing that's consistent throughout all of them, though, is that they never get divorced. They never split. It's very important that that's the case, because that's the whole show. The show is them as a family. Now I'm going to quickly pause here and tell you about this one, this level right here. This is the last level of World 3, and again, it's not a rat killing one. It's just a kick the block to get the fireworks. And as you can see, it involves bouncing again and again to try and get to the other side. And as I did a little montage here, I kept dying and dying and missing and dying. It's really annoying. This is one that I got so frustrated. Because you get knocked off by the pigs, you've got to time the jumps right. It's just going from one side to the other. There you go. I started using save states because it was just too frustrating starting over. Oh man. It's all about the timing of getting over these pigs. Because you can try and hit them. I do have ammo. I have 7 pies. But it's really difficult to, jump and shoot at the right time. But eventually I do make it, I do believe. And, here we go. Here we go. I'm actually watching this now, seeing. Come on, Joe. You can do this, Joe. I believe in you. Oh, no. There we go. So, yeah, you can get hit by the pig and try to stay on the springs. And there are the fireworks right there. And this is the last level of World 3. I'm going to keep talking about this for a second, just because I want you to see what World 4 is like. And also the music for World 4. I always pick up on the music, but when I'm playing this, you hear that over and over and over again, so it sort of gets ingrained into your brain. So as soon as there's a different piece of music, it really sounds different. It's kind of a bit startling, actually. There's me doing a celebratory jump. But there you go, there are 5 worlds, and we've done 3 of them now, so I don't think we're doing too bad, really. It's not a massively long game. I thought it would be longer, actually, but that being said, a couple of the future worlds contain maybe 14 levels, whereas the first one only contained 8. Bouvier, by the way, is the secret code for World 3. Much like Marge Bouvier and Selma and Patty Bouvier. So here we are, here is World 4. Listen to the music. Let's go into World 5. World 4 here. Listen to that. It's like a sort of spooky one. This has got a lot of levels, by the way. Yeah. They go for a sort of spooky horror theme or something, I don't know. Anyway, you're going to hear that a lot. So going back to this thing about Homer and Marge, yeah. They never get divorced. Oh, no, crap. No, let's actually carry on going with this, because actually they introduce a new block here. You see those blocks over there? Those blue ones? They are jars. They're jars you can pick up and place, and eventually you can kick them, because they're like glass jars. And what they do is when a rat walks on top of a jar, it falls in. It falls in the jar, and that means that turns it into a block, pretty much, wherein other rats can walk over it. So you need to sacrifice one rat to fall in, and another rat can walk across it. You'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean eventually. So yeah, no. Truly going back to the topic, Homer and Marge. Yeah, they never get divorced, and that's, to me, that's one of the rules of the show. There's these certain rules that they don't particularly outright say, but through watching all the episodes, you just see it. So a rule can be Marge and Homer can never split. They can never, they can hate each other and they can have troubling times. Like the Simpsons movie is another example of Homer and Marge's marriage. They can hate each other, sure, but they never can split, because that's a fundamental of the show. So I really don't understand who. I mean, they can't have known the show very well or whatever, but people who really think that was going to be the case are just dumb and wrong, because that would be just. Oh, it'd be so wrong to do that. I suppose there are other rules. Maybe there's rules like Lisa. There's a rule for Lisa. In fact, Lisa and Bart, but Lisa in particular, I think it's quite important. Lisa's a really smart, girl, and lots of her episodes are all about morality and not philosophy, but thinking of it's bigger topics usually with Lisa, like politics or vegetarianism or religion when she becomes a Buddhist. That's all well and good, but a rule for Lisa, in my opinion, is that she's still an 8-year-old girl. So you can do all this really, really kind of deeper topics with her, but you've got to remember that she's still an 8-year-old girl, and that's why she likes Itchy and Scratchy still, and that's why she likes the happy little elves or whatever the hell they're called. It's things like that aren't specifically written out, but I think should be there. This is just me. You might have your own opinions of the show, but still. Yeah, what was I saying? And Homer and Marge's marriage is why you can have emotion in the show, because at the end of the day, Marge and Homer do love each other, and that will always be the case. Much like Homer will always be a good father, even though there are episodes where he's a terrible father. He always does something at the end to try and make it up. I'm sounding kind of soppy, but it's a big part of the show, and I think it's much like. I think if Simpsons didn't have that sort of edge to it with the emotional stuff, things like Futurama wouldn't have either. Because Futurama, some may say, is actually more of an emotional show because it can do more. It's bigger. You can do, episodes of Fry, and I've talked about this in my Futurama Let's Play, but still, Futurama can be a very emotional episode. And I think without The Simpsons being the way it was, Futurama wouldn't have been that way. It definitely laid the foundation, I suppose. Here are these little rats, by the way, climbing up. And they just get stuck in there with their weird little faces squished against the glass. Oh dear. I feel like I had more to say about this, but I think I just rambled way too much about Homer and Marge. Oh, and that's what I was going to bring up, is that they have, one time on the show, made Homer and Marge separate for good. But it doesn't count because it was a one of those future episodes. I think it was the episode Future Drama. Yeah, I'm talking about Futurama. It was the Future Drama episode where it turns out that Homer lives under the sea in like a weird pod thing, and him buying that caused Marge to divorce him. And so now he's a single man, and in fact I think Marge ends up marrying, or at least dating, Krusty the Clown. That's a really weird episode. So, oh yeah, and then Homer starts to go after Edna. But yeah, that's a weird episode, but it's a kind of throwaway episode where it's not meant to be taken seriously. And I think that kind of is evident where they'd only do that in a really stupid scenario. They wouldn't do that in an actual way, a proper way. Which is why I'm interested to see what this episode is going to be like, if I'm going to watch it at all. But no, I might see how they eventually want to make Homer and Marge divorce, if only for one episode. It might be interesting. So there we go, there is the first 2 levels done of World 4, and I think I'm going to leave it there for this episode. Next episode we'll carry on going through these levels, which are nice and spooky themed. Ooh. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.